All right, we move on. 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Cowboys and Los Angeles Chargers. This game's going to be a beauty. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Let's move over to the market here. The Chargers open up at -3 at +108. So they're now -102. So a 10-cent move at Pinnacle towards the Chargers. This total has gotten beat up. Opened at 52, and Pinnacle leading the way here, moving it all the way to 55.5. Wow. So let's take a look at the cash. 6,002 tickets in, 38% of the tickets on the Chargers, and 82% of the cash on the Chargers. Ooh-wee, that's wild. And then 29% of the tickets on the under, and 83% of the cash on the under, and yet it's moved up to 55 or 55.5. Whew. Dak Prescott threw for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns. His first game since that awful injury, and he looked excellent. He looked so good, but the Patriots didn't look good. And I still don't know how good these Cowboys are, even though they, went into Tampa and only lost by a point and probably should have won. So 7 of their first 8 possessions either started or ended in Tampa Bay territory. And yet you're still losing by 9 points at the half. I don't know what to make of them because Zeke looked terrible. 11 carries for 33 yards. Is that a surprise to anyone? Certainly not a surprise to Bebsie. He might be done. Maybe that's a little harsh. Cooper finished with 13 catches for 139 yards. Chargers started their season with a big 2016 win and Justin Haley's head coaching debut. But this game was confounding to me, and it was to stay off and watch. I didn't make a move on either side or total here, but Herbert goes 31 for 47 for 337 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So he joins Mahomes as the only player in league history with 4,500 yards passing in his first 16 career starts. Keenan Allen caught 9 passes for 100 yards. Remember, Sharpie had the at least 8 and at least 9 catches for huge scores for Keenan Allen. He got to 900 yards. Mike Williams, 8 catches for 82 yards, 1 touchdown. Austin Eckler quelled the fears over his hamstring. 15 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. Didn't take long for Bulaga to get hurt. I do not expect him to be available when push comes to shove in an important game. He left in the third quarter with a back injury. Storm Norton replaced him and looked good doing it. The offensive line as a whole did a very good job against that very dangerous front seven. And they lost Nazir Adderley, their safety, to a shoulder injury early in the fourth. Dennis Garcia said Dallas was +3 in the turnover differential and lost the game. All you need to know. I think that this is sharp money on the Chargers. I think this is sharp money on the Chargers and that I should probably tail it after breaking this down. But let's hear what Bebsie has to say. Cowboys, Chargers, take it away.
Look, I'm in the same boat here. I think this is a Chargers play or bust. I don't have faith in the Cowboys. I do think they're overrated. I think every year the Cowboys are overrated, and by the end of the season, those who disagreed with me come around. Look, I have zero faith in McCarthy as a head coach. I do think Zeke is not the player he once was. And yeah, Crystal Warren, you're right. It was pass. But when Zeke did have his opportunity to run the ball, he wasn't effective. So I'm very high on Herbert. I'm very high on a revamped Chargers offensive line, even with Bulaga out. I mean, that guy's always out. They've game planned for that. Derwin James being back in as a lift. And look, Herbert is a absolute beast. Now, Dak looked very, very good on his first night out, which surprised me because we talked about it. I had major questions about that shoulder. But really, at the end of the day, I think Washington is a better football team than the Dallas Cowboys. The Chargers took care of Washington. I think they'll take care of Dallas again this week.
So do I, and I'm going to get on board with the Chargers. I know that Dallas is a public team, but I think there's so clearly sharp money on the Chargers that I don't see the public changing that or changing the market here. What do you think of this total all the way up to 55.5? Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy because both of these teams are very offense heavy. I just think the Chargers have a much better defense.
DX Filer, whom I love dearly, says Bebsie giving Chargers too much credit here, I think. Says Herbert is great, but they beat the Redskins with no quarterback. But DX Filer says Dallas is my favorite spread bet. Might be square, but I don't care. Slatsy says bet of the week for me. I got Sunday over 52.5. Says fireworks. Dak and Herbert go head to head. Pass. Get this over. Ski Prophet says I bet the over 52.5, and I like the Chargers also. Mr. Go says love the over.
Yeah, I think even at you said it's been bet all the way up to 55.
55.5 now at Pinnacle.
55.5. Yeah. You know what? I still, if you made me take a bet at 55.5, I'd probably still take the over. I think the value's gone on that. Kudos to the people in the chat who got it earlier. But yeah, no, Birdie, we talked about this a lot last year, the look aheads. I don't think it's as prominent as it is talked about. However, it feels like every time I disagree with you, I'm wrong. So maybe I'll just shut up because I've probably already put the hex on my bet. But I'm still good with the Chargers here.
Birdie says Chargers have Chiefs on deck. Allen in the media laughing at Dallas secondary. Dallas has 3 more days to prep. I bet Dallas +3. Al Cervix says Dallas D is horrible.
Dallas' D is horrible. They were horrible last year, and the only addition was, Micah Parsons in a position where that was Dallas' strength last year.
Crystal Warren says Herbert will throw for 400 yards. Cowboys pass D is just awful. Is that the prop bet here to take Herbert over?
You better believe I'll be staring at prop bets, especially there's a good chance I'm going to grab a Keenan Allen anytime, TD. Friday and Saturday is usually when I zero in on props, but that's definitely a look I'm gonna be checking out.
I think that's a great call, Crystal. I think it's a great call, and then your Keenan Allen TD on top of it too. And Sharpie was all over that week 1. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to sit here and think about this Charger spot a little more. The extra days of prep will help, and doesn't also. I think the Chargers I think it's important for the Chargers to be 2-0 going into that battle with the Chiefs. Okay. Okay. A great call by Crystal Warren. Ski Prophet saying Slater is the best rookie. Says Rashawn Slater is a beast. Gave up no pressures. He is big for us. God. I guess with Birdie on the other side of the Broncos +3 and the Chargers with the Chiefs on deck, I'm going to have to think on this a little longer and not just pull the trigger immediately on the Chargers. So that's what I will do.